We're gonna cut a song from my new album. It's called If I Die Tomorrow, and we're gonna cut the master for this from the tape.
Okay.
So
We're queued up.
We get to watch it
You want
firsthand.
me to show you how to do it? You want to cut it?
Absolutely. Are you
right.
kidding me?
So what we do first of all is we got to start this platter up.
Okay.
Okay, it's on. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll this over here. You're going to press the white button. Yep. Throw this handle back. Knock this back. You're going to drop the cutter head slowly, all the way down until it latches. Perfect. And now you're going to hit fast.
Push
Comes
fast?
Up. Yep. Push fast
Right
first.
now?
Yep. Go ahead. We're in the groove. And I'll press play. And we're cutting.
If I died tomorrow, could you find it in your heart to sing? If my mother cries in sorrow, will you help her with the many things that she needs from time to time and day to day? So if I die tomorrow, will you know exactly what to say today?
I had no idea that the process for cutting a record was so elaborate. Now that I understand what it takes, I'm gonna be listening to vinyl completely differently.
Incredible.
We're getting close to the end of this cut. So Danny, at the end of this, you're gonna hit this fast button.
Okay.
Wait a second, wait a second. We're gonna turn this up and listen to the fade out. And as soon as the music stops, hit fast. And you've just cut a record. Yep.
you just cut a record.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
That's so cool.
So cool, man.
So if you'd like to see the whole process now, where we go from here, we can go over to the pressing plant here, and you can see what happens next.
Yeah.
after the
Okay.
metal
Yeah, I'll
parts
take you
and-
guys out there. We're gonna meet
Yeah.
up with Eddie and we'll go through the plant.
That'd
You
be
guys wanna do that?
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Awesome.
when you're done, I'll catch back up with you and to talk to you about what I called you for in the first place.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that,
Yeah.
too, but this is fascinating.
awesome. All right,
Yeah,
let's
I
go
want
meet
to
Eddie.
see it.
Thanks,
I want to
Great,
see it.
no doubt. Bill Skibby is an amazing engineer, and he started working in the Third Man Mastering Studio, and he learned how to cut vinyl, and he's really talented at it. And we're lucky, we really only invite people in who really love music, really love vinyl, and love to be creative.
So this is where we make all the records out here.
Wow.
Yep. We got plant operators working from 7 in the morning until 11 every night.
That's
And
so cool.
yeah, it's crazy. Production has gone through the roof.
Check this out.
Box truck.
It looks just like a box truck, right? It's just a rusted, dirty box truck. Come around the back here and check this out.
Stop it right now. Are you kidding me?
This is a mobile recording truck.
You're always getting into something cool as hell.
You can actually take this truck to a live show. Truck pulls up, we wire everything up, you record straight to the truck, and you don't have to set up anything inside the venue. You know, if you play in a live venue, you could have somebody rent a tape machine and a board and bring it into the venue. But what this was all about was, no, that's already taken care of. It's on the truck. All we gotta do is wire it up and you're good to go.
Where'd you guys find it at?
We found it down in Yellow Springs, Ohio.
You know, you hear rumors of things like this. Oh, there was a recording truck that did a thing, and they had this cool studio that did this. This is one of those mythological things that you didn't think, maybe didn't even really exist.
This thing was made by an 18-year-old engineer here in town.
What?
Working for a company called Metro Audio.
What year was this done?
1971. And it recorded Bob Seger's Live Bullet, Kiss Alive,
Kiss
War.
Alive. Kiss Alive, okay? I mean, let alone, that's like what broke that band.
Yeah.
Them recording at Cobo Arena, this is an amazing moment that went through this truck. That's like one of the most famous live
Wow.
albums of the 70s.
How do you know all this stuff? Are you talking to people that actually used to run this stuff?
Well, I've run into a couple of the old engineers who've
Okay.
tipped us off to some things.
Yeah.
Hearing around, we're hearing little bits and pieces of, oh, I knew they did a New York Dolls record with that thing. And it even did Sid Vicious's solo record. Yeah.
Jeez.
No way.
So it was all over the place. The story goes that the guy who built it, the kid retired, and then the guy who owned the truck, the company, Charles Buchanan, retired to Florida. He did the Leonard Skinner record, One More from the Road.
Oh, wow.
Was done with this, and they mixed it down there, and then he fell in love with Florida and retired from Michigan down to Florida. So the truck went down with him, so he kind of just phased out of doing the live recording thing, kind of retired and went into film.
So when you guys bought this, did you know any of the history of it at all, or you just bought it because it was a rolling studio?
I bought it because it was a studio. I mean, I went and saw it, freaked out, bought it on the spot. We didn't know any of the history of it.
Our hope now is to restore it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
So you guys want to restore this? You're
Absolutely.
looking for, what are you looking for,
We wanna
parts
bring
for it
this-
or something? Or?
We want to bring it back to life. We want to make it a working recording studio on wheels again. And the history of it and what it's capable of doing is just incredible. I just don't think there's anything out there like
But
this.
what do you want us to do, though? I mean, as far as like you're looking for parts for it or
We
something?
want you to
I
give
mean,
us $1 million for this.
How long you been in the Stromboli business?
For a while.
This is definitely a first, picking a Stromboli factory.
Yo, you got motorcycles. Hey, look at this. Whoa. This is the Paramount.
That's the Paramount.
In 1938, Schwinn introduced the Paramount into their lineup.
These were all handmade, and their big claim to fame back then was this is really super thin chromoly tubing. But the lug works were just to die for.
There was a local bicycle shop owner by the name of Emil Waston. He was an accomplished racer. He was actually on Team Schwinn, and he was also building the Paramount frame sets for Schwinn in his shop on the west side of Chicago.
Grab that group of papers over there.
This sign was hanging on it?
Yep.
1949, Gene McPherson
That's the
rode
guy.
this bike from Santa Monica, California to New York, 20 days, 7 hours, 29 minutes.
And
Dang.
that record held for 10 years.
Really?
10 years. And he was a Columbus, Ohio boy.
Can we pull this?
Yep.
I need to. Can we open this up? I want to get a good look at this. Let's roll it out here. I love the red tires. From what I can see, it's got different wheels on it. I mean, these are steel wheels. It's got the down tube shifter. This is an early version of it. It's a cable system that goes onto the down tube, onto the chainstay, around into this derailleur that pulls a chain.
The rear derailleur on this frame, the way it's mounted, was obviously added. This would have been a track bike that someone converted to a road bike. But it's brilliant the way he did it.
See how the paint is burned off right here?
Yep.
He brazed these little braze-ons on it right here, probably because a lot of his stuff was self-contained. When he was traveling, he probably had a rear rack on it when he was riding. So imagine riding this in 49 and the roads the way they were. I mean, no light system.
It was so crude, you know, compared to what we ride today. I mean, I've done a lot of road racing, I've done a lot of criteriums, I've ridden a lot in my life. To think about riding this across America, it's truly incredible.
Let me take some pictures of it because my buddy in Chicago, he has a bicycle shop.
Okay.
And he's more in tune with this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Mark Mattei is a bicycle dealer that's had a shop in Chicago for like 50 years.
And the shop that they made these frames in is down the road from him.
Really?
The first bicycle shop that I ever worked at, the guy that owned the store collected antique bicycles, and I was amazed by him. He had them in a warehouse. I would go up and I would stare at them. I just was so curious, you know? It was stuff that I'd never, ever seen before. And then one day, Mark Mattei comes along, and he buys all of them. And I remember loading them with him into his van, and I was like curious of where are these going? He's like, oh, I have a shop in Chicago. And they were just gone all of a sudden from my life. And so that's when I started the quest to try to find antique bicycles.
Did you get the photos of the Schwinn Paramount?
Yeah, you sent me a lot of good pics on that.
Whenever I get into something that's a little bit out of my realm, I call Mark Mattei. He's a Schwinn expert.
Looks like the bike's 1949, and it makes a lot of sense from the time that Gene made this transcontinental.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
ride.
Had you heard of this ride before?
I hadn't. I did a little research. I found a very comprehensive article with a nice original photograph in a magazine from 1949.
So of course Mark finds an original article from a magazine. I mean, that's the type of collector he is.
Heading out of Eastern California through Arizona, he had about 14 flat tires from thorns that are called goat's head thorns.
Yeah.
14 times. And because he was riding what they call a soap or a tubular type tire glued on the rim, each of these flats cost about an hour's time. So he lost, a full day's worth of riding. And then the other thing I found, he was unsupported on this ride. It wasn't like a sag wagon driving behind with spares or nothing.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because if he was unsupported, then he had really no lights on the bike.
It does mention that he had red reflectors on his pedals. which
Okay.
is before they became, federally mandated.
Yeah.
It's definitely the same frame. The photographs are clear. It's got all the earmarks that it's the bike.
Was this made in the shop that you took me to down the street from yours in Chicago?
More likely than not, yeah.
What would you value the bike at?
I think the bike has some real value. With that history and this heroic aspect of this sort of ride in an auction setting, if someone were looking for a truly historic Paramount, I would put it at a $10,000 value.
Okay. So you're thinking in the right auction setting, it could pull 10 grand. Because if this was just a regular Paramount in this condition without modifications, it'd be what, 3,000 bucks?
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for your passion. I appreciate you.
You got it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Look at that.
Crazy.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
$7,500. You got a 5,000. I bet
Yeah.
you. Huh?
I've been around
I
antique
know,
bikes
I know.
for a long time, just like you have.
I know.
And you know as well as I do to throw all the dice in on an auction prices.
An auction can go either way. And what Mark is really saying, hey, I value this at so much money, and maybe in an auction setting even more. An auction's always a gamble. Let's not talk about the fantasy of an auction. Let's talk about what's happening right now.
I think the bike's worth like probably 7.
I'll take 7.
Yeah.
It's not just a bicycle. It's a great historical racing bicycle that's American.
I tell you what, I'd do 5,000 bucks on the bike.
I don't know. It's so cool. Where are you going to buy one like that? Where can you get one? Give me $6,500 and take it. Yeah, I guarantee you'll make money at that.
Oh my God.
Pat and I have traded back and forth over the years on a lot of different things. I've bought stuff from him, he's bought stuff from me. Okay, so we always do the dance. We always go back and forth, and we're both predictable to each other.
65's good. That's fair.
There's no deal here unless we both feel good about it.
I tell you what, I'd do 6,000 bucks on it.
If I recall correctly, I think I gave like $2,500 for it. 40 years ago, 40 or 35, I don't know how long. I don't know, it was a lot of money. 65.
62.
63.
Oh, you're all right, you're tough, you're tough.
No.
Woo!
For $6,300, I own a significant piece of American bicycle racing history.
How long have you had this thing?
Close to 10 years.
Okay, so you've had it for 10 years, and you preserved it. I mean, thank God you pulled it up on the trailer here because I could see
It'd be in the
it was starting to
ground.
rot into the ground. So now that you know it's the real deal,
What's the deal?
So now everybody's on board with it is legit. This is where the switch gets flipped. We want to buy it.
Now that it's confirmed that it is, the real van, that flips it into a whole nother,
yeah, it takes it up.
Category.
in its degraded condition, it would be very risky to keep it out in the open here. And I'm always concerned about vandalism and other things. God only knows what could happen.
Like for me personally, and I know you probably thought about this, it's like the money shot for this whole thing is the side of the van. And the story is extremely powerful. But when you look at the van itself, even to present the van, there's gonna be a lot of work done. Now, I'm not talking about restoring it, but to stabilize the van. This would all have to be stabilized.
Right.
But, I mean, would you put a number on it? Would you sell it?
I would, yeah. But
Yeah.
as far as numbers go,
And we know that, this is a big decision. I know you've had it 10 years. It's hard to make a decision like right now.
I understand its history, but what I'm looking at is the condition of it. So where I'd want to be on it is 22 grand.
well, I'm thinking
So many things had to happen to get us to this moment. First of all, Danny basically stumbles on a guy that's got a piece of rock and roll history sitting in his yard. Then I call my buddy Dan Arbach from the Black Keys. Dan picks up the phone and calls Joe Perry, the man himself, from Aerosmith. The next thing you know, one of the original band members comes to look at it and authenticates it right on the spot. And all of this happened in like 2 hours. This is the universe telling us we need to own this van. It's epic. I'll do 25 grand. What? We just got a piece of American rock and roll history. American rock and roll history!
When 25 grand was on the table, I think Phil was like, whoa, I got it, man, you got it.
Woo! If you had the opportunity to buy one of the biggest, most iconic pieces of rock and roll history for 25 grand, hell yes you would.
Dude, I'm thinking we just had one of the biggest scores we've had in our lifetime.
Rock and roll started in America. This is America's rock and roll band. Almost 50 years ago, a group of guys went on the journey of a lifetime together. I'm talking tens of millions of records sold, top 40 hits, Grammys, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that journey started in this van. How cool is that? Are you speechless?
Dude, I'm still in awe.
Now that we are the caretakers of this piece, we have to make good decisions on it. The first thing I want to do is get the van to our metal guy and have him assess the situation. It was almost like that van has been sitting in the woods waiting for us to come rescue it. If somebody told you that this van was in the woods, what would you say?
Dream on.
You dork.